Oh my goodness, and I'm still doing it. It's been a year and a half and I'm still doing it. Um, you know what? It was truly listening to my deepest passion inside of me, which has always been to help people live a healthier life and remain healthy. So I don't know if you want me at this point in time to go a little bit into how I was an employee and why I shifted into what I'm doing now.
Sure, that'd be great to hear. Thank you.
So for 7 years, I worked for OC Hospice, and it was a true blessing, and it's been one of the most amazing journeys in my life. And just dealing with people who've been told that they have 6 months or less left to live, and all the what that entails. I mean, it's pretty intense. So it was beautiful, but after 7 years, my original passion, which has always been into nutrition and healthy lifestyle, took over. And I told myself, you know what? I think it's time to shift back into helping people maybe avoid hospice, not because it's not a blessing, because it is when it's needed, but it's more of a blessing if you're healthy and you don't need it, right? So
Yes.
that is how I decided to leave OC Hospice after 7 wonderful years. And I dove right into creating my own business, which has been an eye-opening experience. And I looked at that.
Well, and that's a perfect lead in. And first of all, I love your heart. I've always loved your heart for helping. So thank you for sharing that.
My
And
pleasure.
what was something that you wish someone had told you before you started your business?
Oh, my goodness, so much. Do we have 2 hours here?
Sorry, no.
You know what? I mean, my husband's always been a businessman. So, I mean, I had sort of a concept of what it entailed. However, it's very different seeing someone do it than actually doing it yourself, right? And even when you start, you don't even know what to ask because you don't know what are all the different things that you're going to be dealing with, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, having like a checklist of all the different things that will require my attention and that I should be looking to create would have been helpful. I thought I did, but then, and how could I say it? So in this day and age where so much of our business is online, and thank God for Zoom, because that's how my business has thrived, I think there's a whole lot of different things that we're dealing with nowadays that when my husband and I had our brick and mortar store, we didn't have to deal with, right? And I mean, I'm not going to go into details right now, but it has been one hurdle after another. And I've had a couple of points in my life, I mean, during this year and a half that I've truly wondered, oh my gosh, what on earth was I thinking? This is too hard. And I would stop and I'd give myself some time to pause. And sometimes it was 2 or 3 days. And then it ended up being like 2 months at the beginning of this year. And then I woke up one day, it's like, no, this is too important and people need to hear this message. Excuse me. And that is truly what has kept me going.
Yes.
Just waking up and having that vision of getting my message heard and taken on board by people and improving their health.
I love the passion is what keeps us getting up in the morning, the passion for how we're serving.
Yeah.
And so how are you overcoming some of these challenges when you're talking about a checklist of things you need to do? And I think you were referring to some of the technologies that we are required to use now in our businesses. It is overwhelming. It's a lot. How are you approaching a solution to, figuring these things out?
Well, it's been a bit humbling. Asking for help.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. I think that is one of the biggest problems with entrepreneurs or solopreneurs is that you have this mindset that you yourself have to know how to do all this stuff and that it all depends on you. And sometimes we don't even know what to ask for or whom to ask, right? And and there's so many people out there. How do you find the right person? Because I did ask for help a couple of times, and I ended up kind of like hitting my head on the wall, because it's like, oh, okay, well, I invested in this and this is not what I needed. So that, I think, is what is a little bit tricky nowadays, is truly knowing what are the tools that are truly going to serve your business and help you connect with your customers or
Yes.
your prospective clients, right?
I've worked with, and I love what you said about sometimes you get into something, you're not sure that that was exactly what you needed. I've had that same journey. I've worked with multiple coaches and consultants over the past 4 and 5 years as I've been building this business. And what I have found is, even if it wasn't what I needed in that moment, I ended up needing it later.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that I did it. And every person that I've connected with, every coach that I've hired, they've all built into me and brought me to a new place, a new level, to where I was ready for that next step ultimately. So I don't think your and my journeys are unique. I hear lots of people talking about this. And so I just applaud you for seeking out the help you need, because that's what happens sometimes, is people give up seeking that help.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's truly also about accepting, how could I say this? Acknowledging that you've made a mistake and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So not beating yourself up because, oh, I made this
Yes.
mistake and what an idiot or whatever it is, because we love to think bad thoughts about ourselves, and we all do it every single day. And
Yes.
sometimes we learn to maybe not have them so much, and that is where maybe you come in.
Well, and I love your poster behind you, believe and succeed. That's what you're talking about.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right. And the other one is, oops, balance.
And that's where you come in.
So just understanding that it's not a straight line, right? It's going to be up and down and maybe to the left and to the right. And just having that inner vision, being able to visualize is so important, I have found, because I visualize myself in front of hundreds of people giving my message, and I feel it in my heart that I can do it. And I know that eventually I will be led to that thing smoothly and easily, with ease, right? As opposed to always struggling to get it.
Yes. And,
Yeah.
and growth is struggle. They're probably synonymous.
Yeah.
And so I just want everybody to know, today I am talking to Sylvia Adler, the health support coach of Breath and Health by Sylvia. And this is the Fearless Climbers Business Show. I'm your business coach and host, Kathleen Reese-Jubenville. And Sylvia, thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be your guinea pig.
Thank you. Yes, this is the first show. If you don't think you can do something like this, everybody who's listening, don't believe it. Believe and succeed. Just go for it. Thank you,
Right.
Sylvia, for being my guinea pig. And so what I'm gonna include in this show is a series of questions that anyone who's listening can ask themselves about their own business to create their marketing message. And so if you don't have to take notes while we're doing this exercise together, if you're listening, there's a workbook link at the bottom so you can get it and do your own exercise. But I just want you to enjoy listening to Sylvia's answers, learning about her business, and hearing how a marketing message is created. So you ready to go for it, Sylvia?
Let's do it.
Okay. So the first question is, who is your ideal client? Not your only client type that you work with, but the one who's your ideal client.
Well, Kathleen, you and I have known each other for a few years, and we met through BNI, and we learned to never say anyone who or everyone who. And it's so easy to go down that way, because what I teach is something that everybody should learn, right? However, that being said, right now, I'm truly looking forward to supporting families and patients who are dealing with either cancer or some tremendous illness like that, because usually, and that's what I saw in my 7 years with hospice, the levels of anxiety and stress go off the roof, right?
Yes.
And that's where I come in, because through breath work, you can actually learn to manage that stress or that pain. So right now, just right now, I'm focused on cancer patients and their families, or not only cancer, there's a whole lot of nasty illnesses out there that cause a lot of anxiety. So I'm here to support and help manage stress.
Love it. Love it. And so that was actually, you answered the second question too, Sylvia, just naturally, which comes out of a marketing message is what's the biggest problem or problems you help them solve? So I heard you say pain, anxiety. Those are the two main things, would you say?
Pretty much, yes. I mean, right now it's obviously not only cancer patients, there's so much stress and anxiety right now. And I want to empower people to realize that just by changing their breathing patterns and awareness, they can help themselves remain calm. So stress, anxiety, and definitely pain. I mean, childbirth, Lama's course, what is it all about? It's learning how to breathe so that you don't get stuck in your pain, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So true. And again, you naturally answered the third question through this conversation. I love it, Sylvia. You're one step ahead. You're rocking this. The third question is, how does that problem make them feel? So I heard that anxiety and all those feelings. You were talking about the emotions, and that's so important in our marketing message. And so then there's another kind of different kind of question that it'll be interesting to hear how you answer it regarding patients, is how is it not fair that these people are experiencing this, feeling this, like what, and it really revolves more around how is it not fair that they don't know how to manage it? Like, how is the system not supporting them in that would maybe be the best way to ask it.
Well, this is where I go into very controversial arena, which is that I personally get really angry at turning the television on and seeing 70 or 80% of the ads are for medicines, right? And so people are brainwashed every day, Kathleen, brainwashed and manipulated into feeling disempowered and feeling that the only solution to whatever they're dealing with in life is a pill or something along those lines. So that is why I think it is so unfair, because it is God's gift to us, the breath, right? Which is one of the first thing that we cannot live without. End of story. But we're not taught how to breathe properly. And that alone can, I mean, don't even get me going, because there's so many different things that can be alleviated just by breathing more mindfully and slowly.
Right? Oh, Sylvia, this is awesome. This is gold. This, when you said controversial, it's fabulous. That's a great marketing message. What your passion, your emotion, what you just shared, your opinions, that is what will attract people to you. I am so excited about that, Sylvia. That was wonderful. Everybody listening, that's what you need to tap into, is what in your marketing message, who you're helping, but why are you helping them? If you start to get emotional like Sylvia just did, that's a sign you're doing the right thing. You're in the right direction, and people will connect with that. And so you talked about how you solved their problem. You mentioned breath work, and I know you have a couple of other things that you do with them. Would you like to talk about those too as well, Sylvia?
Absolutely. So I first became a certified integrative nutrition health coach. So what I do with that is I invite my clients to take an honest, non-judgmental look at their life and see what areas they feel they are not happy with or balanced in or weak in. And then through a 6-month program, I help them find their own solutions, because I'm not there to diagnose or cure or treat or fix anyone. I'm there to provide a safe space for people to do their own introspection and find solutions that go along with their own values and their own belief systems. But by giving them support, I give them the strength to move forward. And once they start making a little bit of progress, then it's easy to, oh my gosh, I can actually do that, right? So sometimes we feel lost and we want somebody to hold our hand and we don't know who can help us, right?
Yes.
And I mean, that happens so much with hospice. And as you know, I've also mentioned that I'm back with OC Hospice just part-time, so I'm not fully employed by them, but it's just something that I always feel so strongly about, and helping people understand the support that is available to them. And people, Kathleen, right and left, always make decisions based on fear, false expectations appearing real.
Oh, that's great.
And I tell people, look, it is your right to say no, but at least let me explain things so that when you say no, you know what you're saying no to. Right. So that's, I mean, that's hospice. And I needed to mention that because I just love OC hospice so much. Yes. I needed to mention that. But
I agree, Sylvia. And I worked in the hospice care industry too, and I have the same heart for it. It was a fabulous company that supported your OC hospice, in fact, with medical equipment, and a fabulous company, Horizon Oxygen. Right. And I wanted to mention too, when you said the definition of fear, can you say that again?
False expectations appearing real.
I love that. And you mentioned it's certainly something that you talk about with hospice care. And it also is something you can talk about when you're sharing what you do in your business. Absolutely. And trying to help people, because I find so many people are afraid to work with a coach. Yeah. Because they're not sure what to expect, and they're afraid they're not going to get the results they want, or whatever it is. And so when we think about marketing out there, addressing those false expectations appearing real with them, it helps move them towards working with us and getting the support that we know we can give them and that they need, but they just need some hand holding to get there. So I love that. Thank you so much. Well, that is a fabulous marketing message, Sylvia, a fabulous heart for the people that you serve. I really appreciate you sharing that. And then I'd just like to round it off with, if you had one tip for a new business owner, a new coach, what would you give them? What tip would you give them?
Wow. Well, I would definitely say get together with someone like Kathleen. I mean, I've met a few and worked with some other business coaches along the line. But you know, when you find someone who's got the heart and the knowledge and the experience, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, Kathleen is a wonderful business coach. As I say, I've met others. There's so many different people out there, and it behooves you to maybe have a conversation with 2 or 3 people to see who connects with you, because just because you have the knowledge of something doesn't mean that you are a good fit for that person. And that is why, and I don't know if you want me to segue into my offer.
Absolutely. Time for your call to action. Go for it, Sylvia.
So my offer is always, if you email me, you will get 1 hour of my time complimentary, and it will be basically an exploratory call to get to know each other, see what issues you're dealing with. As I tell people, there are certain health issues that are beyond the scope of practice, so I need to be very careful. And if you need medical help, I will send you, or at least recommend that you get professional help. However, part of that hour will be, I will include a half hour of introduction to breathwork to help you understand how easy it is for you to learn how to breathe properly and help yourself. And what else did you ask me, Kathleen?
So then just what email should they use? And I'll include it below too, but you can say it.
Thank you. So it's Sylvia at breath dash, thank you.
I have your email memorized.
Yes, I love it. It's breath-n-health.com.
Sylvia at breath-n-health.com. All right, great. Thank you so much for being here today, Sylvia. I appreciate you. And be sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss any of our small business success strategies, and click on the links below for more helpful resources. Have a great day.
Thank you.